Hey everybody, it's Campfire Trish, and in today's video I'm going to be working on some do-it-yourself campfire starters and a kind of a cool, unique burning log. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm hoping to use these in an upcoming camping trip. We'll see. Let's get going. All right, so where are my coffee drinkers? This first do-it-yourself is for you all. So I don't know about you, but I always end up with a ton of coffee grounds from drinking coffee, and it's not a good thing to rinse them down your sink, but it also seems kind of I like to reuse as much as I can, and this is one of those items that you can reuse to make something even cooler. So I'm going to be trying something new with my coffee grounds. I'm going to be making a fire log. So let's get to it. So I use a Keurig with the reusable coffee filters, and this is, oh gosh, many weeks worth of coffee grounds that I keep stored in this this loaf pan, and I actually heat it up every once in a while in my oven to make sure those coffee grounds are nice and dry. When I first started doing this, I wasn't doing a good job of that, and I was getting a little bit of mold in the coffee grounds, which is not a good thing. So started again, and then I've been heating this up every couple of days in the oven to kill any germs. But here is many weeks worth of coffee grounds. If you're using a coffee maker and making multiple cups per day, obviously you're going to fill this tin a little bit faster than I am. But typically we heat it up at 350 for about, I don't know, 15 to 30 minutes, just depending, just to kill any stuff that's in there. So this has been reheated again, and so the coffee grounds are nice and dry. It's freshly out the oven. The other items that are going to be needed are some wax beads. So these are just hard wax beads. I got them off Amazon, and these are supposed to be for hair removal. And then also some treacle, which is Lyle's Black treacle as well. So this is going to be some really nice smelling fire log for sure. So those are the additional items besides the coffee that you're going to need. I have a empty loaf pan, and I'm going to be using my and this is just an old loaf pan, my scale to measure out 250 grams of these wax beads. There we go, 250 grams. And I'm going to stick this into my preheated 350 degree oven. I'm going to let this melt for, about 10 minutes or so, just until these beads get melted. My next item I'm going to be measuring out is my treacle. This is going to be 250 grams. I'm going to go a little bit less since I don't have as much coffee. So there we go. So that equals about 2/3 cup of treacle. All right, so my beads are practically melted, and now I'm gonna slowly add, this is really hot so I'm trying not to touch it with my bare hand, the coffee grounds in. So I'm going to only add half of this right now, and let me stir it up and see what I got, because I don't want it to be too thick. You know, I want to make sure there's enough liquid to coffee ground ratio. I think I'm only going to do half of the coffee grounds right now. Let me add that treacle oil. Essentially, we're going to want, once this bakes, after we've mixed it, it's going to be a brick. That's what we're hoping for. Let's see here. This, you know, I didn't think about this, but hopefully it doesn't stick to my pan. Guess we'll see. All right. Let me see what I can do here. You can see I used about half of the grounds. And this might be a huge flop. And if it is, at least you guys aren't ruining a pan. It's gonna be me. It's really sticky. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of get this flat so it's an even brick. This might be better done with a wooden spoon. And I'm going to stick it right back into the oven, in my 350-degree oven, for 30 minutes, and we'll see what happens. Keep your fingers crossed for me. All right, so in the meanwhile, let me go over some of the other fire starter ideas I have, something else I'm going to try. So I took some oranges and dried them, just let them air dry. And I'm hoping, I've heard that this is another good fire starter to use, so I'm interested in trying this. So that's one idea. Another one that I'm going to be making, I don't know about you all, but we always have a ton of these in my household, and typically it's still on the roll whenever they're empty, which drives me batty instead of someone just changing them. But it's toilet paper holders, toilet paper rolls. So I have a couple of these, and I'm actually going to be filling them with something that's we always seem to have a ton of is dryer lint. So here's just some household dryer lint. I'm going to fill these up, these little tubes up, just like so. I'm going to do a couple of these. You can see there's human hair, animal hair. It's always interesting what you can find in the dryer and the washing machine. Sometimes you never know what you might find. I always really enjoy it when I have a nice tip from either my husband or my children when they forget to empty their pockets. Cha-ching for mama. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to melt some paraffin wax, and I'm going to drizzle that inside the roll here just a little bit. And a little bit of paper, leftover paper is totally fine too. That will help start the fire too. I used to have a coworker who was so cool, and she would make, she would ask us to collect all of our lint, dryer lint for her, because she would make paper out of it. And she loved it when there was lots of cool colors. So if we had like purple or, because a lot of the things are just gray, but if we had some really cool colors, she really liked it, because then her paper would be colorful. She could do lots of really neat things with it. I'll have to see if I can, maybe one day I'll be brave enough to try that on my own. It was a laborious process, I feel, for her, but she enjoyed doing it. So again, reusing some of those items that we have around our house for other things, repurposing. It's pretty cool. Well, that's going to be a mini. I ran out of dryer lint. All right. And so here in a little bit, I'm going to melt some wax and we'll pour it over these as well. And let's see, I might have another trick up my sleeve too. Sam wanted me to try to do something with the coffee grounds with a toilet paper roll as well. So what I've done is just kind of crumple down an end to kind of close it off a little bit. Although I think it was better before I played with it just now, of course. And then I took some of the coffee grounds and my leftover treacle oil, treacle material, and I'm just mix them together to make like a paste. And I'm just going to, let me move these guys out in case I make a mess. And I've got my paraffin wax melting in the oven right now. My kitchen's heating up on a day that's already going to be in the 90s. This might be not a good idea. I'm going to just kind of fill this up like so. And my plan is to drizzle some of that wax inside here as well, just to see what happens. Pack it pretty well, just like that. And I might fill a couple of these up. And yeah, see what happens. All right, another good fire starter is just some good old petroleum jelly and cotton balls. So I'm going to just get a big glob of petroleum jelly into a bag that I've reversed on my hand. And I'm just going to reverse it back. If you're a dog owner, you know the trick. And then I'm just going to put some cotton balls inside my bag. The nice thing about this is that it's a great fire starter, but it will also, those cotton balls will stay lit for a while. So if you're having, you know, some trouble transferring the fire, the lit cotton ball, it's not going to go out on you right away like a match could. And that way these are ready to go. And you're ready to start your fire. So we'll see how well that goes as well. So here's a little bag, a little survival bag. These are nice and light, so you can just stick them in your backpack, your pocket, get the air out of them. And they travel, they pack down small. So here's another option as well. All right, so my wax is melted. You can see that here. Now you don't have to use special wax. If you have candles at home, you can totally use those. So, you know, use what's around. I just didn't have any candles like sitting around to use. And what you're going to see me do is I'm going to take some of this wax and hopefully pour it into these little guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, just like this. And it's okay if it gets on the outside, it'll help it along. Now these I'm going to try to not pour the hot wax on me. Make sure it kind of goes down. Hot wax is not going to hurt you. If it does get on you, I mean, well, I guess if it's hot enough it could, but so just be careful. What we'll do is we'll just just like that, and I'm pouring it on the edges as well. And there's that. So now I'm just going to let these cool, and then they'll be ready to go as well. All right, so it's been 30 minutes and I've just taken my brick out, and now it's going to need to cool completely. So I'm going to lift it up so it's not sitting on the hot oven. But that's my next step, is to let it cool completely, and then we'll see how it turns out. So here is my brick. It's all cool. And it's not coming out. I tried to cut it with a knife and that didn't work. I'm gonna just like let it go upside down on one of my stepping stones here and see if maybe that loosens it up, but yeah, I think I just bought myself a new loaf pan. Maybe if I had maybe lined it with parchment paper initially, that would have done it. But yeah, this, don't do it. It was a flop. Don't do it, y'all. But the other ones, I'm going to show you guys in just a few. Well, I'll show you next how the other ones turned out. All right, so here are the others, and these came out really well. So they're nice and solid. The wax has dried. Even these look really good. So it'll be interesting. I can see how these little guys work. From what I had saw, these were supposed to burn for, like, the big brick was supposed to go for like 2 hours, which would have been really cool. I might have to try them again with parchment paper or something. Lining it, maybe next time I'll line it with aluminum foil. That might work. But yeah, these look good, and I'm excited to give them a whirl on my camping trip.
Alright, so I got a screwdriver out and I was able to scrape away the sides, but it's just coming apart. It's not even a brick.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we rewatched the instructions and she did what she was supposed to do, so I don't know. We're gonna have to revisit this another time, I think.
Yeah, I think it's busted.
Find out what's going on, because and that was like tasty. It wasn't even like a fringe website, you know. It was something that you normally see things that work on. So.
But anyway.
But yeah, you can see it's just coming apart. I mean, it might burn. We'll find out when we get it out, but yeah. It's not going to come out in any kind of solid piece. I mean, it's just falling apart. It's not even close to being any kind of solid. You can see it's not. Yeah. It's not anything.
So maybe we'll figure out something, and I can see what happens when we catch it on fire later. But all right, well, yeah, I think that part may be busted until further notice.
Yeah.
Well, Sam used his elbow grease, and he was able to transfer that mess into this. So it's just an old salt shaker box or salt box. So that will burn. So I'll just use that instead to burn the login. We'll see how it works when I go on my potentially solo camping trip.